Yeah.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Hello, friends.
Yes. The song was a little shorter than I was anticipating. I was trying to channel all the internet into my computer for tonight. So I was caught off guard.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited about tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Chad and Nick, for being with me tonight. We got a fun show. We're going to be talking about season 3 of Mr. Robot. We just have tonight and next week for our Throwback Thursday series on Mr. Robot. So lots to talk about. This was a banger of a season. But before we do so, Nick, how you doing tonight, dude?
Doing good. You know, learn some new stuff. Playing around in Photoshop. Hanging out.
I like it.
Excited to talk about Mr. Robot.
Yes. Chad, how are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Happy. Very happy.
Yeah. Happy. Chad's happy.
He
Chad.
always sounds so happy. How you doing? Just here so I can find. Oh man, Super Bowl plans this week? You guys doing anything for the Super Bowl?
You see, you did good with the first question, but then you asked two questions. You asked a question to two people again, and it really throws everything through a loop. So Nick will go first on this one.
Okay. I have plans, but they're top secret. Top secret plans.
Okay.
Confidentiality reasons. I can discuss these plans after they happen because that it would defeat the point of announcing the plans because it's a surprise thing. So I'm gonna show up at Chad's house and
I was gonna say who has a surprise Super
Bowl party.
Chad does. On Sunday.
Yeah. By the way, we're showing up at your house, Chad.
Well, I won't be here, so good luck.
Okay. Well, what are you doing on Sunday then?
Yeah, I think we're just going to my parents. Nothing like extravagant. And I was like, really, like, I've been betting quite a lot since the betting became legal in January.
Wow. Do we need to have an intervention with you, Chad? Like, is everything okay?
No, because I'm actually making like some good money off of it, if I'm being honest with you. But I was thinking about betting on the Super Bowl, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna stay away from it. Because anytime I bet against either of these teams, I lose. So now, like, I don't know who to bet against. You know what I mean? Like, it's just poor business to bet against both of those teams. So
who's playing?
Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah, super exciting. Yeah, should be a fun
What about you,
Sunday.
Mike? What are you doing?
We're having our neighbors from 2 houses down come over. Make some dip. I've become known as like the dip master here during football season.
I'm gonna make
super excited for my dip I'm whipping up this week. We're gonna do some hot Italian sausage and some
whipping up dip and sausage
with some peppers and stuff. It's gonna be good. Nothing fancy, but no, it should be fun. I'm gonna hang out with some friends and watch a football game that's hopefully good. And
it'll certainly be good.
I'm gonna start getting hyped for the XFL, which starts in like 2 weeks. And then shortly after that, I'm going to become a USFL fan.
Yes.
And we're basically just going to be watching football all the way through July, I think, which is going to make my wife sad.
I think the XFL kind of needs to go back to the way they did it in the 2000s when they first came out, where it was just like freaking pure mayhem, and you could like
Vince
put
McMahon
anything.
Was the like commissioner or whatever.
Yeah, you got to stand out somewhere. Either that, or one of those leagues has to be a minor league for the NFL, and just like the minors for baseball. If you start playing like crap, you go down to the minors, you can work your way back up, or
like
the bottom two teams from the NFL drop into one of those leagues, and the top
relegation.
2 teams from
Oh man, that would be nuts. So, I do know that I forget his name, but the quarterback who played for the Panthers after Baker went down, he was a USFL quarterback, and he ended up. I mean, he didn't play like lights out or anything, but he won a handful of games, which was pretty cool. Anyways, football side. Nick, do you have the OLED by you by chance that we're trying to give away?
I don't.
Did you already give it away?
I did.
Oh, geez. Well, that's not good.
We have been weeks.
Yeah, we still got quite a few subs to go, but we're climbing. Help us get to 1,000 subs so we can start this Nintendo Switch OLED giveaway. We do have one. It's hiding somewhere in Nick's basement, but we would love to give it away. So tell all your friends and
Yes.
subscribe yourself if you haven't already.
And if you guys really push, you could get an OLED with Tears of the Kingdom, which is coming out in like 2 months.
There you go. There you go.
It's your chance. Now's your chance. Don't blow
We
it.
got what? 3 weeks until the kickoff of the March Madness tournament to determine the best streaming service original series. Last night, sorry, Chad, this was a spur of the moment thing. We were all hanging out in StreamYard, and I opened up the poll results, and Nick was like, "Hey, let's just record this, our reaction to the poll results so far for Patreon." So we did, and we have 25 votes in the poll, which is pretty good, but we still got 3 weeks, like I said, for you guys to get in there, take the poll, help us decide which shows could move forward into round 2. We have every matchup on the poll, so 32 matchups for you to help us decide. You can find the link on the homepage of showboysmedia.com. So go head over there, take the poll. And thank you to our top tier patrons, Yusuf H, Tim B, and Joseph C. Thank you guys for your continual support. It means the world to us. Thank you to all of our other patrons. If you're interested, go to patreon.com/showboyspodcast and sign up today. All right, we got to talk about season
Good
3.
job, Mike. Good
season
job.
3. We forgot to mention Dad. He's behind the scenes like always.
Dad.
Mr. Dad Bot is back there.
Dad bod.
I'm sure he has taken a few polls, Joe.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
It was totally not paying attention whatsoever, and then came back into that moment.
Oh,
I'm like, where? Wait a second.
That was inappropriate.
Where are we going here?
That was inappropriate. Yeah, season 3. So we had a 10 episode season here in season 3. Picked right up where season 2 left off.
No way.
And I was telling Nick, I think it was yesterday, that I forgot. Like, for some reason, I thought season 3 was the low season for me. But definitely it was not. A lot of stuff happens here. The story progresses quite a bit. Lots of extremely intense moments. What a ride. I think season 3 might be my favorite season. I think I said that in season 2, but I don't know. Season 3 might be up there. Chad, initial thoughts on season 3? It left him speechless.
I really enjoy season 3. I don't think that it's my favorite season. I think that
Nick,
we lost
general thoughts on season 3. Oh, we lost Chad. He'll be back. It's actually quite windy tonight.
Yeah.
We're in our neck of the woods. So,
I had to unplug my router earlier today, and then I completely restarted my mesh network. And finally my internet started behaving. There was some dust in the line, I guess. I don't know. I need cleaned out. Blow on the cartridge.
Yep.
Get the internet humming along again. So
like when we were Joe says he hated it so much he left. Exactly. When before we went live, when I was like, hey, I'll be right back, I had to go outside in the backyard and chase down our trash cans that I use for taking our yard waste to the yard waste dump. They blew all the way over into our neighbor's yard, and
just pick them up on Sunday.
Well, if I didn't go get them, they probably would be like in the next neighborhood because our backyard is just like a giant wind tunnel. It just
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully Chad will be back. But Nick, on your second watch,
Yeah.
how was season 3 here for you?
Season 3, great watch. I'm definitely veering into the territory. Like there's less and less I now remember. Like season 4 is like I'm gonna have to actively see it for the memories that come out of deep storage. So like there was definitely like I think season 3 was like the extent of my like active memory of things I like thought about. Be like, oh, I wonder when this is gonna happen. I'm kind of out of those things, and I don't know anymore what season 4 is about. I just know it's going to be awesome because your boy's back. Spoiler, but I really enjoyed this season and definitely some fantastic scenes. And this had the E Corp. Yeah, episode 5 was the E Corp invasion scene.
Yes,
it was. Okay,
yes,
good.
All right, Chad was texting us.
Oh, okay.
He says,
okay.
He says, internet is out. It's mayhem. Fires, babies jumping out of windows, nuns tossing holy water, the works. So I was a little distracted. I'm sorry.
That's quite the text.
Yes, this season had the riot at E Corp, which I don't know if
the insurrection at E Corp. You mean?
Yes. I don't know if it was technically a oneer because there were many scenes as I was rewatching it, where they like for instance, Angela's in the elevator and they have the little TV screen in the elevator.
Mm-hmm,
There's a few times when they go in the elevator, or if they go somewhere with a screen, the camera kind of zooms into the screen. And I think when you're in a close-up like that on a screen or something playing something, I think you could use that as a moment to cut and like splice things together.
Yeah. That's fine.
Regardless, if it was a true oneer, that would be amazing because it's 45 minutes, one shot, appears to be one shot. And the thing that I loved specifically about that episode is when it aired on USA, it was commercial free, obviously, because there was no places to insert commercials in that craziness of an episode. So another one of those things, I think I mentioned it in the season 2 episode for us. Just another one of those things that USA did during the show's airing that kind of I thought was really cool and not normal for a cable network to do, to allow the creators there to have their creative liberty with what they're trying to do. But yeah,
but between that and Irving, and then a little sprinkle of Joey pulling like the 3-point shots every once in a while.
Yeah,
just a good season, and it's really like paced up. Like I feel like everything's kind of moving at a very good pace at this point in the series, just because it's hard to say like all the intro stuff is out of the way, but like I really think that they kind of like got everything introduced kind of at this point through season 3.
Yeah.
And then now we're about to begin the closing arc.
Mm-hmm.
So I think kind of seeing all the characters kind of full either really kind of breakdown, literally, and just like completely at a loss, because we kind of see the tables turn on everyone in this season.
Yeah. Chad, welcome back.
I'm here. I'm back. Hopefully,
tell us your initial thoughts here on season 3.
Yeah, so I love season 3, much like the other ones. I don't know that it's my favorite season per se. I don't know. I feel like I'm like slowly falling into madness watching the show. I'm like really channeling my inner Elliot, because I like
be talking to your invisible friends each episode.
Yeah, and like just at certain point in this episode towards the end, when something specific happens, I'm like, dude, I have no fucking idea what's going on in this show anymore, but I like hacking and that's cool. And, I like taking down big companies. That's cool. But yeah, I love it, man. I'm not going to lie. Even though I'm really relying on this episode to tell me what the hell's going on here. because it feels like every one of my theories gets disproved and then reproved and then disproved and then I don't know where we're at, dude. But I will say that following this season, the time thing we were talking about last episode is really kind of thrown in your face, I think, in this season more than the other ones.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you actively considering theories, or are you done kind of like chasing the? Oh, I think I know what's happening.
I mean, there was
or
parts
or even like what you want to happen. Like, oh, I would really like it if like it went this way by now. Or you're just like, I have no idea,
dude. Yeah, like I have no idea where it's going, but because I don't know, it's like the Tyrell thing. Because on our previous episode, I was like, dude, I don't even think Tyrell is real. Like, he just doesn't fucking exist. But that is like seemingly completely disproved in this season as we see him seemingly existing. So I don't know, dude. I'm just all over the place. Like is that thing at the beginning? Like, it might be the first scene of the show, or like one of the first. Is that like a time machine they're building? They don't really touch it. They just show it, and they're like, okay, let's move on. Like,
okay, so yeah, I forgot. I was trying to like rack my brain of what happens in episode 1, because unlike season 2, I was not diligent in writing down like what I thought was cool in each episode. But yeah, the first episode, the intro, you have like a scientist walking through a lab, explaining basically realities to the trainees, it looks like. And he walks past a sign. You see it's the Washington Township plant. And then White Rose is there in the elevator, also talking about Elliot and his father, and how his father actually was working on this project and died, essentially in White Rose's mind, like died for the cause,
right.
Saying like, and that's kind of, time. What do you say? Like, fate led us to Elliot. So Elliot's gonna basically pick up where his father left off and all this stuff. And then it zooms, it like goes down through the elevator shaft or whatever, and then you zoom out on this giant machine, and it's like the Hydron or whatever collider.
Yeah, it looks like a collider. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so that's like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to slowly think that this is some sort of time travel story that's going on here. But I just don't have enough evidence, and you know what I mean? Like, it's so sprinkled throughout, but I keep going back, and it might just be a total throwaway line from the first season when White Rose says that he hacks time, and it could just be to explain why he's only got 3 minutes or whatever to talk to him. I'm like, okay, I'm like thinking more of that. I'm like, is he actually hacking time? And then everything going on with Angela, where she's like, yeah, everything's gonna be fine. My mom's gonna be back, and then she's like watching the TV and like rewinding. And she's like, look, they're fine. They're fine. Yeah, like, what the fuck's going on?
Dude, Angela, oh my gosh, I can't wait until we get into like talking about each particular character, because Angela, her trajectory is the complete inverse of last season.
Yeah.
But yeah, building on the time theory and reality theory that we brought up in last episode in season 2. They start out with all these subtle things, like what I just talked about in the first episode at the plant. But like a load more Back to the Future references. So many vaguely specific dialogue lines referring to time and reality and things like that. In one episode, in the closing monologue, Elliot walks by a storefront with TVs, or you're shown a storefront with TVs, and Superman is flying around the world, making it rotate in the opposite direction, reversing time. And then you get to the end of the season, and there's just straight up like Angela talking to Price, like, White Rose told me she can undo all this. Like, don't you believe what she said? And Price is like, dude, what she like, I've known about what she's trying to do forever, and she's crazy. Like, you
Yeah.
really think that could happen? Like,
Yeah.
She's lame.
so they go all the way to directly referencing the theory that everyone is thinking about, which I thought was really cool.
Right.
But yeah,
And there's a lot. I mean, again, there's a lot of Back to the Future stuff, maybe
Mhm.
more than past seasons in this. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. But more broadly, I want to touch on, because I didn't get a chance to because my internet gave out. I wish there was a scene in there where they're like trying to hack something super important and the internet just gives out. That'd be super realistic. But anyway, I do want to point the very first line I wrote in my notes is, I really hope your favorite character is Irving. And I don't know if it is. I assume it is.
That
kind of
is
had that because in this season, Angela and Elliot are they go to the hacker like club.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The only place that has internet.
Yeah,
that is true.
There's issues.
Yeah, you're right.
But yes, Irving
They
is
got
my
it.
favorite character. Here he
It's
is.
so good.
He's perfect.
So good, dude. Absolutely so good. Yeah.
He's just that
Yeah,
Italian, like
sleazy car salesman.
He writes everything, all the
yeah.
important things down on his hand.
Yeah, so good, dude. It's so good.
Angela Moss.
He's in The Irishman. He plays a character in The Irishman. I don't know what that actor's name is,
Bobby
but he's fantastic.
Cannavale.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I mean, he's in everything. New York
Yeah, he's in a lot of
related.
stuff. Yeah.
No,
but yeah, I was so excited when that first scene is just great with him at the barbecue shop. When
going
he's
out, going off. Well,
yeah.
Not really going off, but like mild temperedly going off on the
once you see the whole
Bull
season, going off for him is like really drastically changed. Like, oh, he's been pretty calm the whole time. He's been like sleeping.
It's like, so what constitutes as a visit? Like, do I need to get out of line and get back in line, or do I need to leave the premises and come back in? Like,
and then he answers the call and he's like, "Oh yeah, is he dead?"
Yeah,
I'll be there. It's so good, dude. It's such a great character. Absolutely,
he's just like a complete caricature of a character, which I love so much. Because he just hams it up.
But he has dialogue on that though. Like when he's talking about like the cup and like being the persona, like it helps carry him through like what he needs to do, because like people they just see him and he's like the big goofy guy, like the suit, the hair, the big goofy cup with the like saying on it. He's like, it's part of it. Like he really owns it.
I wonder
if he's always just working on the book.
Yeah, I wonder exactly. I wonder if that fateful day when they were at the barn, he had like a lumberjack mug or something.
Yeah. That's I wrote that in my notes too. The #1 dad cup is so great. Yeah, so he's a huge standout for me. I enjoyed literally every White Rose. I don't know what White Rose's Chinese minister name is, but every scene that he's in this season's freaking fantastic. I really, really enjoyed the way that they were playing Mr. Robot and Elliot against each other trying to hide Elliot from the fact that they were using Mr. Robot, and that kind of stuff is so cool. So yeah, that's the main standouts for me as in a broad sense.
Yeah. I also love just back onto Irving though, and back to the barn, and mainly because I watched the season finale today. When he's talking to who I learned is named Grant, which is the least Chinese name I've ever heard in my life. But for those of you who are not sure who Grant is, that is White Rose's like lover /
right hand man,
henchman, lead henchman, the guy who's dealing with Elliot directly,
who Irving once was at one time, which is crazy.
Yeah. So that whole conversation between Irving and Grant, like when Irving's like, I'm just gonna go take that much talked about sabbatical, and Grant's like, what are you talking? You're not going anywhere. And then Irving just like
grabs his face and is like,
so good.
Yeah. I've been in your shoes.
Years ago.
Like you're not
was in your
shoes,
shoes,
to do,
right?
Bro.
Like, that's another the discussion between White Rose and what did you say his name was? Grant.
Yeah.
That conversation leads me more to think that at least White Rose thinks that he's going to be able to manipulate time in some capacity, because he's like, I'll when all this is done, I'll come and
Yeah,
find
come
you.
find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a little salty. We're still not getting explanations on these guys blowing their heads off in every other scene. These Chinese guys.
Dark Army, man.
They're just loyal to the cause, and
Yeah.
I think like White Rose was able to flip Angela. He's thoroughly convinced the Dark Army that whatever he's doing is legit.
But like,
and so I don't think they're afraid to die because they think he can
bring him back or
everything.
undo it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was either that or the Dark Army completely is like from the future or something, and that's how they get back. It's just off themselves.
Cool. That's
like
cool idea.
Yeah,
they're like using peripherals.
Yep.
Biosif says, "Take what poll, Joe?" I'm sure you've already taken the poll. The March Madness round 1 poll, of course, on the homepage of the website. Yeah, and like Irving is also bought in on whatever White Rose is selling too. Like he has that conversation with Angela. So yeah, it's just interesting. I love Irving. Like Nick, like you said, how he's just comes home after, chopping up Santiago, and he's like, all right, chapter 2.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And he has that line about like beginning, middle, and end. Like you can have, you got the beginnings, whatever, you got the middle, but you got to have that banging ending because otherwise, what's the point? Lots of layers to this.
Yeah.
Cake.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I did want to talk about Irving as the new character, and then Grant, of course, is another new character. I liked him, but I think in terms of all the characters that have significant roles in the show, I think he's probably my least, the least effective.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like the dynamic in relationship with him and White Rose. And I
know a little bit more structure to White Rose because it just further kind of plants what her MO is, right? Like she's a guy, she's a dude, she's a chick, like an ambassador for China, Dark Army leader, has this weird project, obsessed with time. Main henchmen are also her boyfriend. Irving was her boyfriend at one time.
Yep.
Crazy vendetta against Price. Like it's just like another layer to this like White Rose mystery. But also like really kind of makes it shows how much in this season how personal all of this is for White Rose, and like she like really is convinced of something that she's going after. And then Price's counter dialogue throughout the season to all that.
Yeah. Civ says White Rose has 100 for the control of the Dark Army. They believe in her cause enough to take the pill or drink the Kool-Aid. Exactly. I agree 100%. In terms of new characters, Irving and Grant, I think, are the only new additions to season 3.
Yeah, I think that's
Santiago being a douchebag is kind of new-ish.
Yeah, his role is new.
Yeah.
To us.
But yeah, so the big players this season, I have, of course, Angela, we got Dom, we got Santiago, Leon. His brief appearances in the few episodes he in are just absolutely
so good,
crucial and brutal.
Yeah,
I love Leon.
Such a good character, and I'm pretty sure unfortunately, I wrote the quote down, but I don't know who said it, but I think it's him, where he says, homeboy is wrapped tighter than a chinchilla's asshole.
Yeah,
I think it might be him. I'm like, dude, quote of the show. Quote of the show.
Oh, I love, what did you text me last night, Nick? When Grant's phone is ringing in the barn standoff.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I think that's you, cuz.
Yeah.
To Grant, because Grant's so confused. His phone's just ringing, and you see in that scene too, like you see him get the text, that Leon get the text like before it all pops off, and on the second watch, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's definitely the moment. Then he just plays up the whole I'm gonna shoot Angela thing or Dom or whatever.
He just goes off like at that 360 no scope Leon over there.
Yeah, so good.
But yeah, and then of course the Price and White Rose duo of characters there takes a big step forward and kind of takes front seat to the story here of the season. But
definitely the first half.
Where do you guys want to start? Because there's a lot.
Guess we'll start with Elliot.
Elliot, okay, take it away, Sir Nick. Where would you like to start with Elliot and his arc in season 3?
Yeah, I mean, we can touch on Elliot in parts. So, like, let's definitely address the first half of the season for all the characters because everyone is a little bit different between the two halves of the season. Really, like episode 5 and post episode 5, because Angela has a complete turn after that, and even Elliot has a complete turn into like 6 and then 7. So, effectively, Elliot on the first half of this season, right, is doing the whole like hide and seek with Mr. Robot between each other. Like he is 2 separate people completely, like literally, in the way he engages with everyone. And even everyone is kind of, for the first time in the show, like really on board with that, where they are playing into it because like Angela is working with Mr. Robot directly.
Sneaking out, meeting with him, like they have their own thing. She's lying right to him, Elliot, about it, right? But then Angela's constantly working with, his sister, Darlene is completely working with him and trying to find out what Mr. Robot's up to because he's like scared of him and they're completely separated. So that was a cool dynamic this season because it's kind of like a little bit of a detective like esque show to it, right? But it's you're playing detective on yourself. And then so the other big side of that is Tyrell, right? Because Tyrell is coming back into the fold in terms of executing phase 2 completely, getting it all the way there. They're having issues because Elliot keeps stalling them. Elliot's on this vendetta to stop it. Because Elliot gets a job at E Corp.
Yes, and
so
Angela.
That's new here to the season. So he's
the montage is so good of him working at E Corp.
Yeah,
it's so good. Yeah.
His E Corp buddy.
Like, what are the?
Yeah.
That's Rami, by the way, the star of the Hulu original series in our March Madness tournament. Rami, and his actor's name is also Rami. So that is all one person there. But yeah, he's hilarious. Especially when the part where is it episode 5? Yeah, it has to be episode 5. Right, where he thinks he's talking to us, but he's
he's talking to him. Yeah.
And then
he's like, "Oh crap,
yeah,
this might work out in my favor." Yeah, yeah, it's so good, dude.
And he's like, "Well, actually, man, thanks. I needed to hear that.
Yeah."
I haven't been laid only but like or twice, maybe 1.5 times or whatever. But yeah, so in his efforts to stall the stage 2 plan, he's like rerouting the deliveries of the paper records. They're all supposed to be coming to one facility, and he's sending them back out all over the country. And just the constant back and forth of what Mr. Robot and Elliot are trying to do is just a stalemate tug of war. But yeah, Civ says, dude, Angela lying to Elliot made me R. I'm sorry that it made you R. But yeah, it was tough to see, man, because Elliot and Angela are BFFs.
But that is post White Rose talking to Angela. So White Rose has Angela all bought in on this. And this is also where people are really confused because it's like, oh yeah, phase 2, Elliot's plan, let's go. And it's like, even Tyrell's like, what's going on? Like, why is he not him all the time? Like, he's wigging me out, bro. And even Angela has to tell him, like, just to at least get Tyrell in the loop. So it was the most separated and apparent like separation of them. And I think it's even episode 2 where 2 or 3, when he wakes up in his apartment and looks in the mirror or whatever, and he's like all messed up and like bruised, and then they replay the whole episode forward with Elliot going forward, but it's constant flashbacks to what Mr. Robot was doing. I'm like, this is really weird, because if you forget that that's all like referencing the night before with Mr. Robot, even like the meeting with Price and Tyrell in the apartment, like all that activity, I'm like, it almost appears as if they are completely two separate people.
It
And I was
does.
like,
Yeah, it does.
are they in two different
Yeah.
like realities happening simultaneously?
Right.
But they fix it at the end.
It's not until
yeah.
he's putting the mirror back on where
Yeah.
you see everything that happened. But yeah, that
But
was
they both did like touchback flashback references
Mhm.
while progressing the story forward.
The story's
with Elliot.
forward. Yeah, it was super. Yeah, I thought it was super confusing, but it did come together in the end. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the Elliot and Mr. Robot stuff in this season's the best it's been in any of the seasons, especially how they're just using him separately. Like, it's so weird that you like that's Elliot, it's Elliot, but they're using Mr. Robot, and then there's like moments where they get worried that Elliot's coming back, and there's just a lot of good Mr. Robot and Elliot stuff in the season.
Well, I really liked
so
how like Darlene, like Mr. Robot has that semi-violent encounter with Darlene in the apartment and like legitimately scares her, and then she's like scared of Elliot and like not sure of which one is there for a while, and then that like awkwardness kind of continues on throughout the season, on top of the whole like, oh, by the way, I've also worked for the FBI, sorry bro. But like yeah, quite a bit of awkward tension between the siblings there. But I liked how, because it reinforces the fact that these characters just see Rami Malek's bug-eyed face. They don't see Christian Slater or Rami. It's like, no, they see the same person, but Elliot asks, or Mr. Robot, I forget which one, asks Angela, like, how do you know it's me? And she's like, I can tell, it's your eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Elliot looks away.
Yeah. But the Darlene like confrontation there, like, just reinforces that, like, oh yeah, he's the same. Like, it's not two people like we're seeing this whole time. Like, sometimes I forget that it's like they're seeing the same person, but like completely different person. So that's probably like super crazy, confusing to them.
Yeah, and kind of building on what Bio's saying here, because he was like, Darlene knew immediately, and she called him out before he choked her. But she was in a really precarious situation because she was trying to hack him for the FBI, so she had to like double lie there. Kind of, she had to pretend she thought it was Elliot, and like she didn't know what was like the problem was, when in fact she knew it was Mr. Robot, but also was like, I need to lie my ass off to Mr. Robot because he's onto me for good reasons. Like he's more onto me than like Elliot is. So that was a weird like double layer she had to work through, because she also was subject to the second like decimating line of hurtful things said to her. And like it's kind of true, like Darlene's kind of shitty, like, not that she chooses to be, but that whole situation. And
what was
the Dom thing?
What was the Darlene devastation?
When Dom like just
Dom
tears
lights her up
one
at the end.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I think there's definitely 2 per season. So like it was Dom lays into Darlene, and she's just a terrible person, and she can just die with that, and there's no way she can like talk her way out of it. And then was it Tyrell from Price was the other really bad one?
Where he's talking about like when he inserts him as CTO, there's some absolutely brutal line there. We should have, man, I wish I would have thought this through. We could have done like an in memoriam segment each episode, just listing out all of the just life like sucking dialogue lines that characters deliver to other characters.
There's a super where like two people just get decimated verbally.
Yeah.
It's just
I
like,
think you're right on that too. A season for sure. Because you said that
no,
last episode too.
yeah.
There is a scene after that, the hacking confrontation with Mr. Robot, where she does ask, she's like, or either she asks or Elliot like sees she's kind of apprehensive, and he's like, no, it's me.
Yeah.
So while most of the time I agree with you, Siv, I think the events of this season, whether it's that interaction with Mr. Robot in particular, or compounding on the stress that she was under with being an informant against her brother, right? That I think she needed in some scenes like confirmation of who was in the front there.
Yeah.
Man, Dom, like, so just to focus on Dom for just a second here. So like the whole end thing where she was like, yeah, there's no way I'll ever flip. Like that's everything I'm against. Like blah blah blah. Isn't it? It's her literal job to flip people against like what they believe. So like, how hypocritical of her to like be like, I'll never flip. Like all you do is convince people to flip for you,
right? Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
I've got standards. Dude, that was. Oh, I know we're jumping all over the place. No, I'll wait. I'll wait till we get to that part. Anyways, so yeah, so the conflict between Mr. Robot and Elliot, and I don't think that gets resolved until like
the end,
like
late, yeah, really,
episode 8 or 9 or something like that.
But yeah, it's so like literally the end of the season. It's part of.
I was gonna say, I think it's like one of the last scenes. Ones. Yeah,
it's like Price, Angela, Mr. Robot, and Elliot, and then it's really those are the two angles there.
Yeah, and then Dom was just hanging Darlene with dialogue. Yeah, you're right. So Elliot, of course, trying to stop stage 2 because it involves blowing up a building, and well, when they talked about blowing up, what was it, Steel Mountain? He was very opposed to that because you don't want to like kill people or do unnecessary damage. So,
murder.
Angela's role in this, she's been reassured that the building would be evacuated and all that stuff, but Elliot doesn't care. So he's trying to stop this the whole time, and I love the buildup. I remember the first time seeing like them stopping the attack, and like Elliot's walking down the street and like this moment of triumph, like, yeah, me and Mr. Robot, he came around, like we're on the same side here, like we did it, we stopped it. And he walks by like everyone's pulling out their phones and stopping at the storefronts looking at the news, and it wasn't for that building, it was for 71 other buildings across the country.
They stopped it for that one. It wasn't 72. They saved one building.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah. But like, I remember seeing that for the first time, just being like, "Oh no!" Yeah. What was your reaction seeing that? Like,
oh yeah, dude, it was shocking because it's not mentioned even remotely. Everybody's focusing on that building, and the entire episode is revolving around that building too. And it might be the previous episode. I don't remember which episode is like the single shot through the mayhem.
Episode 5.
So yeah, I was totally shocked, and I think Angela really takes a nosedive. I mean, she's really nosediving to like Elliot level of madness after that episode.
She peaked with like some mad hack skills, and like she did it herself, and like believed in it, and then oops.
Yeah, and then afterwards, dude, it's really I know I already brought it up, but it's really the rewinding of the video where you're like, this bitch is crazy, bro. Yeah, like she's like, no,
4 cats away from being fully submerged in the deep end.
Right. She's like, no, here, I'll show you again. Let me just show you.
Look, they all come back.
See, everything's fine.
So good. But
That was
yeah,
again another one of those like subtle but not so subtle hints at like this whole time reality theory.
right.
But yeah, let's just talk about episode 5. It's like the elephant in the room. It was a fantastic episode. This is maybe, I was talking to Nick. I misspoke last episode saying the 90s sitcom episode was my favorite episode. It is not. It is probably at tied for second favorite episode with episode 5 of season 3. My favorite episode is in season 4. And I can't wait until everyone sees it because, oh, dude, it's my absolute favorite. But yeah, dude, oh my gosh, just everything from the one shot appearance to watching it on USA commercial free, the way that it was intended.
Sequence.
You got the fighting, the physical altercations between Elliot and Mr. Robot.
So
in
good,
particular,
dude,
I remember where he's like in the computer lab and that rando dude is in there. and like when he like blacks out and the whole lab is destroyed and that guy's just standing against the wall and he's like, what is wrong with this guy? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot in this episode that I like. This is probably my favorite episode so far, by a long shot. But just like little things like Elliot when he's trying to make his escape, and he's like, he goes into the stairwell and he's going up, and the guy's coming down like, yeah, I'm gonna get him. And then he turns back around, and then he hears that the guy's talking about his son that he's going to go pick up after work. So he turns back around and goes back up. It's just like little things like that, dude. I'm like, so good, dude.
Oh, I love how he's like looking for someone to get off their machine. And he goes over to the old lady and she just like schools him. And
schools it. Loved it. Yeah.
But then she's like
sniffing whiteout, by the way. Did you see that? When he walks over, she's just like, sniffing the whiteout.
But then she does the whole like, but you know what? I'm gonna use this opportunity to totally snitch on my coworker. And like, I'll tell you who did. He has a remote client on his desktop and uses it all the time. Shame. No, that him dodging security, like when he's in the little boardroom and they're all like that was a little like on the nose. Like obviously that looks suspicious as all get out and security's everywhere. But him dodging security throughout the floors was a lot of fun. He's wild.
You got the scene in like the boiler room or whatever, where he's like literally throwing himself against the wall. All that stuff is fun, but the real like meat and potatoes of this episode is following Angela through the raid of E Corp and like all the chaos that's going on, and then our favorite hamburger eating like hazmat suit wearing guys just
freaking
chilling there eating his sandwich.
Time travel, man. That's how he gets where he gets. Like just in and out.
He must, man. They don't have hamburgers in his universe, so he gets one as soon as he gets here. It's the first thing he grabs.
Freaking what a dream role.
Right.
You don't have to say a single thing. You barely see any of your body or face, and you just got to take some bites of a sandwich and like open a door for someone. Like, dude, sign me up. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love that he just pops in like the most random fucking spots too. Like you do not expect him to pop in.
Suit.
Yeah.
I wish we could get Sam on and just be like, what is with the suit, dude? Please tell me why this guy was wearing that suit every scene he was in.
Misdirection.
And
while this is all going on, like the FBI, Dom, like basically they know, right? It's at that red wheelbarrow place, but Santiago's totally like stiff arming them. And then they just do the whole like cop, like, want to get lunch? I'll get lunch if you want to get lunch.
Yeah.
Guess we're getting lunch. They totally just stake it out.
Yeah.
And that's great. And then like Tyrell's in there. Tyrell, gets kind of made out to be like the hero through all that. And that closes up the red wheelbarrow scene from like, that's where Irving's kind of like camping out at. Like he takes Angela there to have like lunch or their Monday morning staff meeting. She's like, it's Friday. He's like, it's figure of speech.
Yeah.
I love when he's like talking about eating ribs for breakfast. He's like, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all about the moisture.
Yeah,
They know.
and he's talking about mopping, and yeah, it's so yeah, he's a great character, dude. So good.
Some red vinegar or like whatever
Yeah.
he was describing.
Yeah.
Like as they cook them, they just
Yeah.
lather that on there.
Man. But yeah, like I loved seeing Angela like maneuver her way up to the tower or whatever, the machine,
Terrified.
whatever, I don't even know what it's called. Yeah, absolutely terrified, but like mildly
Terminal.
panicked that Elliot, there's no way she's going to be able to find Elliot and
Right.
get him up here to do this. So like knowing she's going to somehow have to pull this off and then like actually doing it and then like the rioters are just like lunatics, so like she could get attacked and almost does.
Well, she probably also knew it was daytime and Elliot was probably driving, and there's no way that would have worked. So like she's kind of in this pinch with the Dark Army where they don't know he's split. So the only person that knows is like her, Darlene, and Tyrell. So like it wasn't even about finding him really. I just think she was just like, there's no way.
Yeah, even if she
I don't
did
even
find
think she
him,
tried.
like,
Yeah,
he's not going to do it because he's Elliot right now.
right.
But yeah, and then I love how she just like sucks it up and puts on the tear gas mask, and then you got that cool scene of her with the mask on with her hair coming down and she's got the hood up and she just looks
and the dude
red.
like looks at her and like stares at her and then just goes back to doing whatever. Yeah,
and then
it felt a
how
lot
about
like
the security guy in the elevator like realizing she had something she shouldn't, and he's like, you need to come with me, and then she just basically gets him murdered, like beat to death right in front of her.
Right.
She's like,
Ruthless.
oh dang it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoops.
It gave me like major Daredevil prison vibes, like that whole prison scene. Obviously this I think is significantly longer than that, but that's what it was like, just mayhem going around, single shot as we're following one person through everything.
The
very
prison
good,
scene
dude.
is so good.
Yeah.
I like the stairwell scene too.
Stairwell, yeah, very
Daredevil
good also.
So, dude, there are a lot of good scenes in Daredevil.
Yeah.
The we talked about this last time, like when I watched this show like 4 years ago, but the like when she's at the terminal like and it like pans over the wall and it like peeks outside.
Yeah,
that's just so cool. I don't know how they did that, but it looks sweet.
It does, yeah.
They totally simmed it.
They
like,
literally cut the roof off of a skyscraper and got a camera crane up there. No, I'm just kidding. I do love that because you see a similar technique. Maybe not like exactly top down, but it's kind of like from the side. But you see
Elliot
that
and Angela
through the wall while they're sitting against the door.
Yeah, so good with the red lighting. Yeah, that scene's really cool. Even though it's like, yeah, I would like to know how they do that too. Now that I think about it, like,
I mean,
it's just a blank wall there.
Yeah, like they just literally stop the wall there.
Green screen editing and
they could do that. Yeah. But yeah, dude, this is a fantastic episode.
It all turns because they won up like 9/11 in that show, and they literally put the entire country into martial law lockdown.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to continue with Elliot, Mr. Robot, or are we switching gears here? Where do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about Angela. Like, Angela's trying to handle Elliot through all that. That's why he gets the job there, and she messes up, and a lot of this season's about like handling mistakes, right? Cleaning up people's messes. As Santiago like flipped out at the end, he was like, "It's time you start cleaning up my messes." And it's like, okay, yeah,
probably shouldn't have went there, Santiago.
Okay, okay, we can do that. We can work on that. Come with me. Take that and put that right over here. Put a pin in that, and then I'm gonna put an axe in you. So,
yeah. You took Chad's saying a little too far.
Yeah.
This is another pin.
I do love how like Angela completely on board and like again was stressing throughout the first half of the season like I only want to do this if it's done safely. Like we're taking human life into consideration here, but like seeing her have to like on the spot cope with basically getting the security card, like either like Batman beaten into like an inch of death or like brutally murdered by the hands of riders.
And random tech girl called her out to Irving. Like, what was her name?
Oh yeah,
rough.
yeah. We'll take care of that.
Take care. She's not gonna kill her, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then realizing that the hack she did,
she did it.
She
literally did
was responsible for 71 buildings blowing up and thousands of people dying.
Yeah.
And
Good
then
job,
her
Angel.
immediate and swift descent into madness.
Yeah, and you kind of have the two storylines or two perceptions of there's this perceived 5/9 hack, this like revolution, blah blah blah. Mr. Robot talks about how they like hijacked his ideas and like they turned it into something completely not what the point was, right? Like things typically are. There's like that group, and then you see the other group where it's Price and White Rose just kind of having it out at this like just personal feud, right? Just trying to. White Rose is like, I had to ask twice, so I'm just gonna like decimate you. So
she called it a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Price needed slapped on the wrist,
right?
Because you're so caught up in like the narrative of why these things are happening, but they kind of do just lay it out in front of you that like White Rose just kind of said we're still going to do it anyways, and everyone's like, oh, I thought we weren't going to do it if you got the Congo and the UN vote and all that stuff. When it's like, yeah, we're gonna get that, but we're also just gonna go ahead and do it anyways because I'm mad at Price.
Right.
So phase 2, not stopping, full train. Then Angela's here, like, oh, we're gonna save a lot. We're not gonna hurt anybody. We're just gonna burn some records. And
that's all.
Blow up one building safely. Safely blow up. I mean, you can't safely blow up a building, but come on, Angela.
Not the way she's doing it.
Yeah, not the way you're doing it.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean that. Let's see here. That's we talk about Tyrell in there. Poor Tyrell. Rip his family. I completely forgot.
Similar inverse of character that you're like we're introduced to this like power corporate player, right? Do anything, climb up the corporate ladder.
I am a god. We are gods.
And now he's just like, I don't even know how to describe how Tyrell is right now.
You know how he's doing when he puts on those gloves, like he's about to beat a homeless man.
Yeah.
This Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tyrell, he went from top of the world to realizing he's just kind of being used. He was literally left to die by Irving. Decided to finally break out and just take a chance there, right out to the FBI.
Oh no, I think that's part of the plan. That was, I mean, because Irving leaves him that letter, and he's like, "Read it, do what it says, and then burn it." So I'm completely sold that was the plan.
I figured he was supposed to stay down there and just like die with it.
No, because he like puts the handcuff on the bed rail and like sets it up like he was imprisoned.
Yeah.
So I think it's all part of the plan.
Oh, I see.
Building the plan that he was kidnapped. Yeah.
That he was kidnapped and escaped. Okay, that makes sense.
I think episode 3, which I think is the Tyrell in hiding episode, even though it totally squashed my Tyrell is not real theory, is really good. Really good episode. Probably my second favorite. Yeah.
Yep.
Probably my second favorite of the season. And it's just cool seeing more of him because we haven't really seen too much of him, really. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The hiatus out at the barn, super good because you have one, he's in his crazy like love of Elliot, like that feeling of them being these gods of hacking and like invincible, can do anything, completely oblivious to what's happened to his wife, by the way. When he asks Irving, he's like, hey.
Which first off, thank God, because I couldn't stand her. I'm so glad. Unfortunately, one of the most unrealistic death scenes I've ever seen in a show. Like she's leaning forward, gets shot, and then like lays back and dies.
Yeah.
But I'm happy she's gone because I just couldn't stand her, to be honest with you. The least favorite character of the show.
I like how that's placed right at the end of like episode 2 or whatever, and they don't readdress that till like episode 7. And like it's one of those things where like this show is completely different from like how a typical TV show would go, where they would do the death and they'd pay the payoff on like the close that loop would be the next episode.
Next episode, yeah.
Even like that's how you cold end and then like on to the next thing, and then 4 episodes later they're like Santiago's just like she's dead, murdered point blank.
And that was, I'm like, oh God, I think that was the decimating of Tyrell was in that interrogation room.
Yeah, because Santiago's a total douche about it.
Dude, he's like, I'll make sure your boy ends up another statistic.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, dude. Oh, that's so brutal. What did you think of the reveal of Santiago's turn? Like, where he comes up to meet the cop who picked up Tyrell and then just blows his head off.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty wild. But there, I don't know, there was always something a little off with him. And I think at first he was just like a douchebag to Dom, and he was like seemingly trying to steer the investigation. And he does it a lot after that reveal too, where when you know that he's doing it, but he does it a little bit in the beginning too. So I mean, I won't say that I was totally shocked. Not like any twists we've seen so far, right?
Yeah. I think if maybe if we haven't had the zillion twists we've had so far, maybe that would have been like, whoa,
yeah, right.
Yeah. Because I was talking to Nick, I was like, how obvious is Santiago here? Like,
yeah.
Did that catch you off guard when you first watched it? Like, because of all the things, that is the most obvious for sure.
Right.
But yeah, like what a scumbag. Like I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, I can't either. And especially like the whole when he's taking Darlene out of the police station or FBI headquarters, and then Dom meets him he's like walks up to her, he's like, "There's what are you scared
what do you
of
think
me?
I'm gonna
like
do?
There's cameras," and then it just immediately knocks her out.
Oh geez. Yeah, so what else do we have to go through in the first half of the season?
I do want to talk about the whole Elliot Mr. Robot trying to figure out Darlene and like her shenanigans, like where she almost gets made at the safe house apartment, where he like hacks the FBI dude that's like watching him and traces it back to the apartment. He like breaks in there, like, is Darlene home? Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah.
Like that was a cool sequence. And then I also like how Darlene is, keeping things kind of from like the FBI, and they know it, and then she disappears for days, like with Elliot, and like she's trying to sort this out straight with Elliot and fix everything, while also trying to not go to prison or like go to jail and like play the FBI informant role, but not completely. I thought that was always like a good dynamic. Just like in the scene in episode 5 when they're like standing in like the crowd, and it's just like complete loudness, and then that's all like drowned out, and they're just like talking.
Yeah,
I thought that was a cool scene.
Yeah, what did you think about?
Well, in the first half of the season, you get like a little bit of, or wait, is that after episode 5 when old Joey and Trenton and Mobley come back in? Yeah.
What did you think about Mr. Robot coming out to Krista, his therapist?
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Those scenes were pretty interesting. We of course had the return of Krista, great character. But she actually gets to talk to Mr. Robot, and in some pretty intense scenes. Another intense one happening after episode 5, where he tells her that he's responsible for the buildings blowing up. I love the interaction with, is it like her lawyer or attorney or something, where she's
perhaps
like,
the owner of like the practice or something. That's like that.
I gotta say
council.
something, and he's
Yeah.
like, you can't unless he says he's gonna do something like
Actively.
that again. Like,
Right.
and
Yeah,
But
and he's
also
like,
how
yeah,
unbelievable it is.
right.
Yeah.
He's like, there's thousands of people just like your client that have claimed responsibility for it. So
yeah, right. Like you literally talk to crazy people. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's definitely the Iranians.
Yeah.
Rip.
but she's putting pieces together, right? Because he's like, hello, I hacked you. Like, I hacked that Lenny dude or whatever his name was, who you
You're
were
welcome.
seeing. Like, I can hack normal people, so of course you should be able to draw the conclusion that I can execute a hack that simultaneously explodes 71 buildings. Duh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Easy.
Yeah. I think pretty much the other main thread in the first half of the season is between Price and White Rose, and White Rose, of course, trying to secure the annexation of the Congo, which does happen. The vote goes through in episode 5. You see on the elevator TV screen. And in return, White Rose needs to convince China to back eCoin fully for eCoin to be standardized and become like the standard currency or something, I believe. So we have that whole storyline playing out, and the back and forth power plays between Price and White Rose just keep trying to one up each other and assert their dominance. But I think we know who wins at the end.
Right. Yeah.
So post episode 6 or episode 5, Dom and Darlene start to work a little closer together. That's kind of like a one-off. Well, it plays into the end of the season there, but she kind of, I believe she was about to turn Elliot in. Like she was starting to get closer to that point and starting to feel bad about it, and then he tells her that they can undo the hack because of Trenton's
he got the email. From Trent. Yep.
So she goes along with trying to get into Sentinel where the keylogger is, and has that one night stand with Dom, gets caught trying to steal her badge, gets arrested. And then that leads to the finale, which we can save and just talk about the finale separately at the end. I do really enjoy Dom's character though. Like, she's trying to do the right thing, and I don't know. How do you guys feel about Dom?
Dom's good.
I mean, yeah, she's all right. She's just got the Girl Scout thing going on, which I find a little annoying because I feel like nobody's really like that. And she's just weird. Like her personal life is weird. Like she brings Darlene back to the apartment, right? Which is fine. I'm fine with that.
Their interaction from bar to the apartment is just great. Like the way she Dom's actress plays literally being face value awkward is just so good.
So awkward. Painfully, you bring her back to your apartment and the first thing you show her is your freaking Alexa. Like, who gives a shit? She's like, what else can that thing do? It's like, what is going on here, man? But I don't get why the Alexa is such a major part of her story, because it was a big thing in the last one too. They showed multiple scenes of her talking to Alexa, and
she's
That's
lonely.
definitely why Prime picked this up, because they're like, oh, they got Alexa plugs all throughout it.
Seeds.
Yeah, bro.
That's how you
need a friend, just get an Alexa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the whole planting of an F Society member who's making the videos, because while Darlene is being this informant, a new F Society video is put out, and we have a patsy in place here to be caught and arrested. Doesn't talk. of course, the post-credit scene of season 2 is Leon going and finding Trenton and Mobley. That plays out in an episode. Rip, Mobley's roommate, who Joey just slices wide open. He takes them first out to the desert to bury the body, and I love that whole, like, they're in the back of the car. Trenton like frees herself, and he's like, "All right, you got to get us out of here." And she's like, "Dude, I don't know how to drive."
Yeah, it's every New Yorker.
I lived in New York, like I never had
No.
to.
Right.
And so she
And
like
that whole scene, the way the whole scene plays out is so freaking funny too, because they take off, and I love Leon's reaction where he's like,
yeah.
It's a hate Cadillac.
And then
Yeah,
they
it's
don't
not
even
how
make
you
it that
treat
far. She
Cadillac.
like crashes into the one rock in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the only
it's so
person
good.
in history to crash a car in a desert.
In a desert. Yeah.
But he ends up taking them to a house, to the Dark Army, and man, oh dude. I mean, I knew what happened.
They do the
at the
FBI
end,
raid, and
but like the way
simultaneous with
they reveal it was so cool, even though you knew what happened. Like, oh dude, the setup there. Of course, they're framing the Iranians, which you hear in, is that in season 3 or towards the end of season 2 with the meeting of White Rose and the Alex Jones of Mr. Robot,
Season
where he's
season.
like,
yeah,
where he's like, I'm
think
gonna
it's
need you
season
to
3.
plant this on Iran. And the guy's like, oh, they're brown enough. I think it'll work. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, geez. And then, of course, White Rose is like, and there's somebody who I need you to back here. And it's Trump on the
TV,
screen
yeah,
for his presidential run, which I thought was hilarious because a lot of the towards the end of the season, the Price and White Rose conversations happen at Mars Lago or whatever, his hotel, which I thought was hilarious. A nice little touch there. Yeah, and they sit him down. Grant sits him down and makes them explain what's in front of them, and Mobley realizes like, but like this has already been executed. Like you don't need us to do anything. And he's like, now you get it.
Yeah.
And just their slow realization and like Mobley's freak out as the guy is like putting the gun to his head. Like just that whole scene was
I agree.
so good. It was so intense.
I agree with Nick too with the FBI raid going on too. I thought that was really cool. Because they make it seem like they're there at the same time and they're not.
Yeah, they might like
seemingly
be able to
later.
stop it or whatever.
Stop it, right?
No.
No. And then that plays out great. And then it leads to, and I know I've said that I have multiple favorite episodes this season, but it's not my favorite season. It's kind of sounding like it is, but that leads to the episode with Elliot and I think his name's Mohammed, maybe the kid.
Trenton's brother.
Mobley's brother, Trenton's brother. Executes visiting Mobley's brother to be gotta bury him.
Yep.
That's a cool episode just because it's like a pause
good
for Elliot where it's like
everything,
all the fallouts happen. He kind of has like the pieces of like what to do next, but he just doesn't know how to move forward with it.
Well, because he was about to not move forward anymore.
Right.
Yeah, he bought
absolutely
enough morphine to kill several large horses.
They never said he was going to take all of it.
Oh, they were heavily hinting at it.
I mean, they go as
just
far
like a
as
normal bag.
That is not a normal bag of morphine, bro.
A normal bag.
It just lasts him a while. I thought he was just gonna have a good time on the beach.
About to go peace out on the beach, because like when they're in the mosque and Trenton's brother's like, "I wish you were dead," and he's like, "So do I."
Oh, he says, "So do I." Yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
100%. But that whole episode's so good, dude. And that's another big like they go to see Back to the Future.
Yep.
He was about to take
Jeff
it all.
says he was about to take it all, and the boy showed up. They go Back to the Future. I love the little argument between the fans and the
he wants to
while they're in the
I love
line.
that. And I love the kids like, can we see The Martian? Like, I don't want to see this. It looks like an old movie.
His
I loved
comment about
and it was just like a
critics.
chill episode, even though it was like very dark. Like he was like on
Super
the verge
sad
of killing
and
himself.
emotional.
Super sad and emotional, but it was like a chill episode. It's definitely a chill episode for this show for sure.
Yeah. It was a good like palette reset before 9 and 10, because that's when stuff started to get real crazy. I mean, the episode's called Don't Delete Me. I mean,
Right.
come on. He's literally about to kill
Pretty
himself.
obvious. Yeah.
But that was just a really cool episode. I love how Trenton's brother like owns him at the end. He's like just walks up and unlocks the door and goes inside, and he's like, "You had the key the whole time?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?" He just straight up wanted to go see a movie. Like,
Yep.
it rules. A lot of cool like dialogue and introspection by Elliot that like helped him turn the corner.
Well, yeah, and even like as he's like this kid's like way ahead of him because he's like, dude, your parents are gonna be back for like 3 hours or whatever, and he's like, yeah, that's why I keep saying we should go see a movie.
Yeah.
It's like, duh, keep up.
Yeah.
I also really love the theater scene where the dude's like, "Can you hold my flux capacitor so I can clean my glasses?" It's so good. So good. But again, really hammering home. Not the only time that we're hammering home the Back to the Future references here in this season, because we get another one at the end as well. So
for sure. It was really a really good episode. I love it. I also love how his jacket ends up back with him there.
What they just roll up and dump everything out and then roll away. What was going on there?
I love that scene. Like, things are so bad that like garbage pickup and like drop off is such a contentious thing that like this white van with no windows, slider door, flies up, like skids into the sidewalk, slings open the door, and just dumps trash out. And then
well, I mean, if you've ever been to New York City, I mean, they have trash issues now. Like, I can't imagine what it would be like in mayhem like that. I mean, if you walk down the street in New York City, there's trash all over the place, huge piles of trash. So
I just love how they like dramatize.
I thought it was going to be like somebody like they were dumping a body off or dumping somebody there.
It might as well have been. They were
dumped that trash,
bringing back Mr. Robot.
But
I love. I guess since we're on the topic of the state of New York, there, I love the monologues that we get in the season. I forget what episode it was in particular. I want to say it's the episode that they go to like the hacker club competition thing, but where he's monologuing about like, again, the state of society and like was what they did actually like helpful at all, or did it just kind of screw over the people that they were trying to help in the first place? Because like I said at the start of this, I think they do a great job of showing both sides. Like, everyone wants to have that like fantasy, like one thing that will cure all of society's problems, especially when it comes to like finances and wealth and stuff. Everyone thinks they have that one easy solution, but like
Elliot had the easy solution. He had that bag on the beach. Like, that's the only way to cure society's problems. Like, that's it. There's no hacks. There's no corporations. There's no politicians.
Don't listen to Nick. It's never that bad. That's never the solution. But I do love how like they pull off the solution, right? And it just turns everything into even more of a dumpster fire and kind of actually screws over the people they're trying to help more than if they were just in the system that sucks, right? So I appreciate that about this show a lot. So I guess we're down to really episodes 9 and 10. And are there any characters in particular up to this point that we really need to lean into? I don't think so, other than just
I don't think
talking
so
about
either.
what happens
Angela-
in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah, up to this point, Angela just gets picked up off the street, and she's like, "I'm ready." With
She's
her
got
little,
Cordy
trash
like in the little
grocery.
bag in her cart.
Yeah, and then she runs into her old boyfriend, doppelganger on the street corner.
Yeah,
selling
Frisco.
CDs. Yeah, yeah. She's just been
Someone
in
laughs at my
limbo
joke.
in
Oh, that's
in
pretty
her
good.
apartment. Darlene occasionally checks on her, but she's just
Yeah.
wasting away. But her apartment's bananas. She's got all those pictures up everywhere. It's like she's trying to. Everything's covered in plastic. I don't know what's going on. The pictures
Yeah,
makes you think
dude.
she's
Yeah.
trying to force the past to materialize or something. I don't know. She's prepping for
She has
future.
about 23 locks on her door now.
Dude, yeah. When it's just you just have to blow the hinges off, to open it.
Yeah.
The locks. Really, after 4 locks, you're not changing nothing.
Right.
But yeah, doesn't episode 7 end with him and Angela leaning on their respective sides of her apartment door? I enjoyed that little touching scene.
Yeah,
I mean, there
absolutely.
wasn't too much going on there, but it was cool to see.
Super important use of his ex-girlfriend's or dead girlfriend's apartment. That's pretty clever.
Yeah,
just,
Darlene's hideout.
Yep,
Yeah.
and his hideout there in episode 9, I think, when the Dark Army comes. Rip.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Price, Tyrell, Mr. Robot situation in Tyrell's house, because it is kind of important.
Yeah.
One, Tyrell is reinstated or is offered, and does he accept?
Well, before that, Elliot just kind of shows up, or Mr. Robot shows up, and wait, how do they get there?
I think
he just shows
Tyrell
up,
is there at that point because he's
he just
he's
walked
cleared.
freed, exonerated, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I think
And then Mr. Robot shows up.
I forget exactly why, but he basically goads Tyrell on until Tyrell's getting the homeless gloves out.
I love that. Yeah, I love that he just got him in a kitchen drawer and he just opens it up.
He's I'm about to punch some faces.
I just don't. I guess I don't see the benefit of it. Is it a cleanliness thing that he's putting him on for? He just doesn't want to get blood on his hands.
Yeah, you don't want nasty snot and germs,
especially
and stuff.
Homeless people. Are you kidding?
Homeless, yeah.
Yeah, I get it for the homeless people. That's fine, but Mr. Robot's not a homeless dude.
He's a half a step away, though.
Yeah, true.
He's homeless adjacent.
Yeah.
I mean, it might partially keep DNA off of their face, and then if that ever comes back on them.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, he's going to drop about 40 hairs on him while he's punching them. But yeah,
right.
Theoretically, you keep
maybe a few sweat drops.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't break a sweat. He maintains that perfect
composure.
Point he's just slugging them in the face a few times.
He needs to borrow Burger Dude's hazmat suit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So their chat goes sideways and upsetting, and then Price shows up.
Yeah, but does he accept Price's offer in this episode?
Technically, he accepts and then declines, kind of.
Yeah. The first decimation of Tyrell happens here via Price.
Right.
But even more importantly, Price knew the whole time about everything.
Yeah.
Which was a real surprise to Elliot and Tyrell.
As the viewer, you're kind of oh shit, there's Elliot, Mr. Robot, Price just walked in, but Price just Mr. Alderson, you might as well just sit down too. You're involved in all this anyway.
Yeah.
So.
You're right, yeah.
Again, due to all the other twists and turns and reveals here and there, this one not as shocking as all the other ones, but what did you think about it?
I felt the whole season was like that. We didn't get any major twist, right? There's nothing compared to season 1 and season 2.
In comparison to the wildness of season 1 and 2. But
don't think
the
the
one
building's all
building
blowing
to
up?
71 buildings,
Yeah, I mean,
that's massive. Santiago being a mole
yeah,
is okay. Price knowing the whole time about F Society and Elliot and Tyrell is pretty nuts.
yeah.
Were there any
I think it
others?
might just be yeah. He's right. It's just smaller things, and I think that's why it felt so like it was like waiting for the major twists, like season 1 and season 2, and it just never came in my eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the 71 buildings thing is like crazy, but it's not compared to Elliot's been in prison the whole time, and Elliot's got a split personality that you didn't know about. You know?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Robot's not
true.
actually real.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
But I think that's kind of goes back to what I said earlier in terms of like this at this point everything's well established and
Right.
like we know Price isn't an idiot right at this point. So him being like it's a very Price thing to do like, oh, Mr. Alderson, like you might as well have a seat too. Because it's not like Price is gonna walk and be like, oh God, like who's this guy? Like and not know what to do. Price knows what to do. Like the dude's
most
got a
powerful
handle
man in
on
the
it.
room in every room he goes in, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyrell realizes he's still the Dark Army's puppet in all this, whereas he thought he was. I think that's what Elliot was there for, or Mr. Robot was there for. To be like, you think you're like free of all this? Like no, dude, that's not how it works with the Dark Army. Like, they let you go because they have a use for you still. And we find out here to be the new CTO, right? But
yeah.
Let's see. So this is where Elliot receives Trenton's email about the encryption keys to undo 5-9. And the whole Darlene and Dom apartment happens here. I'm looking through the episode description right now.
It all just blurs together.
I know, it really does.
The biggest twists though are saved right at the very end of the finale.
Episode 8 or 9 is where Elliot talks about stage 3.
Yes, and he goads the Dark Army into all that and intrigues White Rose by stage 3 and pisses Grant off about stage 3. And he has that awesome meetup with like the first like meetup guy in the park that walks him up the hill to where
Yeah,
is
so-
sitting.
yeah.
That was so great.
Yeah. That guy's
He's just like,
hilarious.
"Shut up."
Yeah, yeah. I also like that the goons for the Dark Army wear those masks, and those masks are literally what the bad guys in Spider-Man on PS4 wear. It's like some sort of Chinese mask, and I think it's just so
Yeah.
cool that they're wearing it here.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we've covered.
Dude, that like courtyard, by the way, where he meets Grant, so cool looking.
Very cool.
Just like this grassy area on the top of this like
It's like a little
pyramid
hilltop park
plateau
or something.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, like
completely
that would be
empty.
kind of private. Yeah.
Got that one table set up.
Right.
But yeah, I love it. Elliot hacks and owns the Dark Army, which is pretty cool.
Pretty OP.
But yeah, like Dad's throwing some twists here in the private chat here, and there are still some big ones, but they weren't revealed until the very end of the finale here. But yeah, let's just talk about episode 10. A lot happens. It is such a crazy episode. First question. Do you remember all the way back in like season 1 when Elliot's like walking into Krista's office and he like takes a moment, looks at the painting, and it, you know, it's kind of like a barn with like a couple people like standing looking at the barn.
No one gets that on the first watch, Mike. Just
I know. I brought it. I brought it up. It's like, hey, you know, that picture, you know, might pop up later.
Oh yeah, I do remember you saying. Yeah, I do remember you saying that. Like,
yeah, just a little subtle, like
subtle, non-existent
call to this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh geez. So everyone kind of convenes at this barn where Tyrell was being kept, which we didn't even talk about the crazy like cracked out dude who comes and like Angela-esque interrogates Tyrell, and like breaks him into by asking him all those like crazy questions.
Yeah.
The dude, he's from like the Princess Bride or whatever. He's like the inconceivable guy.
He's snorting the coke the whole time. So
yeah, and you got like the teapot blaring, and he's
just,
like, "Did you kill Sharon Knowles or
Yeah.
whatever?"
Do you hate your father?
Yeah, I thought it's just so interesting how White Rose just mentally breaks everyone who works for her, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the same thing that happened to Angela, by the way.
Right.
Again, before we get into the finale, the episode showing Angela as a child with her mother. Did you recognize who played Angela in this scene? I wanted to talk about it in season 2, but I refrained because it's the same actress who plays the little girl who interrogates Angela for White Rose.
Shit. I didn't pick that up. That's huge. I didn't pick that up.
Dude,
that answers it might answer so many questions about that odd ass scene if that's her as a little girl interrogating herself. Like,
Dad,
come
did
on.
you notice that?
There's no way that they were like, yeah, let's just use the same actor. No one will notice. Like, that has to be important. I'm saying
it's every detail in this show means something.
And then we'll talk.
All right.
And then we'll talk.
We got Chad back on the rails.
Yeah. And we'll talk at the end about the what might be a big reveal. I don't know. You take the road, and then I'll stop you when we get there, and we'll talk about it.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. But yeah, let's talk about how everyone gets to the barn, the Dark Army base camp out where Tyrell was previously hiding. So Darlene, Dom, Santiago all get there because Santiago's just trying to covertly take Darlene out there. Dom does the whole gets punched in the face thing, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's a cool car ride just because like Dom's in the Girl Scout thing. It's like, oh, how could you? And then like it was putting all the pieces together, like how he's messed up everything from the get-go.
Yeah.
So that was a cool car ride. And then that's where they presumably are going. They don't show them go there, but we know that's where they're going later. And then Elliot, he just up and goes with how does he go with Irving? He's voluntarily goes with him, yeah.
He was searching Santiago's house
yes.
for something, and Irving was there. And
Mr.
I love
Robot.
He's talking with Mr. Robot about or us about like how he's gonna weasel his way out of this, and Irving's just like, whatever little scheme you're scheming up there, like just don't bother, just come with me. I love how they do stuff like that subtly throughout episodes here and there, or they like interrupt his monologue with us, with the person who's interrupting them, like answering or like directly talking about what he's talking to us about.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I also really appreciated this going way back. We already talked about it, but that like hacking competition or whatever, the mute button where he like mutes everybody in the room. Like that's so cool.
And he like actually smiles. He's like, oh.
Yeah. Was the like emoji heads this season, or was that in season 2? The montage of him that must have been in this season when he starts working at, or was it?
Oh yeah, no, that was this when he starts working at E Corp,
and he keeps going on like the subway, and everyone's got like emojis as heads.
Yep.
Oh like yeah. It is season 3. Because
anyways, I love that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Kind of a repeat of the routine. You found another routine.
Is it? Not to completely derail, but was that the episode where the montage is over like "Steal My Sunshine"? Like it's that stupid cheesy song from like the early 2000s. Anyways,
it might be. Yeah.
Continue on.
Okay. Yeah. So they get picked up in Santiago's apartment, and then Irving just rolls up at the barn, and like Elliot gets out, and I'm always it's Elliot and Mr. Robot because they're both getting out,
and they're great. Yeah, and they're great at this. Mr. Robot's like, we are walking into some fucking hillbilly shit here. like such a good quote.
and like for once, like Elliot has the like upper hand here. Like he kind of knows what's happening, whereas like Mr. Robot's like freaking out. Like he's like, this is not good. Because he's kind of going along the ride because he was like, all right, we'll go to Santiago's place, try to figure this out, blah blah blah. Well, I'll play your game. But like Elliot gets out and he just stares at the house. And is that because he recognizes it, Mike, from like her office, Chris's office?
I have no idea.
He looks at that place so goofy, as if he like knows it or has seen it.
That could be.
So I don't know if that's like a time travel drop or like he just recognizes it from the office, and it must be that. But I thought that was cool because he's just like stuck, and Irving's like, "All right, come on, let's go."
All right.
All right. Yeah. They roll into the barn. Like Darlene's there.
Dad says in the back, he says, "No, that's just his face."
Yeah.
So rude. But yeah, Elliot kind of he's like down with this whole barn thing. Mr. Robot is not. He's like, this is some hillbilly shit. It's like it's not gonna go good for like any of us. And Elliot's just like chill the whole time. He's like, we're waiting for like someone big to come, and like we're already here, right?
Right.
A little camera in the sky. White Rose is watching, so like that's his angle the whole time. Meanwhile, Grant thinks Grant is the one that shows up, not as big of a player as they had hoped, but he's the more kind of like dangerous out to get them all. He's just like, we just need to kill all of them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because he finally convinces White Rose, like,
just listen to me.
Yeah, because throughout the season, he's like, I can do what he does. Like, why do we still use this guy? Right. And up to this point, Elliot's caused enough commotion and issues for White Rose that Grant was able to convince White Rose, we just need to kill him. He needs to die like his father did. So that's how we get to this point here with Grant and all of these fun, the fun barn party here.
That was a good barn party.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Santiago has his little meltdown. He's like, it's time you start cleaning up my messes for once. And like Irving's like, okay. Grant's there. Irving's just so good. He's like, all right, let's go. And like Dom just knows. Like she's like, I am about to die. And like that's really well done too. Because all the way from like her getting up to go with Irving, Santiago following them, and like when she's like looking up at the sky, like he's just like, just look at the sky. It'll be fine. Deep breath. He's like breathing with her. Yeah. Like breathing with her. And then just like nails Santiago in the chest. And like the whole like flip thing where it's like she is super Girl Scouty, and even it's kind of corny that Santiago's like, just say you'll flip. Like obviously Irving's not gonna believe that. Like just say, like obviously she's gonna say so they can live.
I love how this whole interaction plays out because she Santiago takes the axe to the chest and he's just sitting there with a gaping hole in this general area. Struggling to breathe the whole time this conversation is happening, by the way. And Irving's like, all right, so now we took care of him. You're gonna take his place, and you're gonna be our informant, and you're gonna do this. And she's like, dude, as soon as I get out of here, I'm gonna arrest you. Like you said, all Girl Scouting. And he's like, so
love the reading.
Looks at his hand and he's like, so what's the name of your youngest whatever? Oh, it's Jody from Dallas. Okay, that's your brother's youngest kid, right? I want you to imagine her in Santiago's place right now, and just takes another shot. And then he's like, and then how about Brenda, your sister in Houston or whatever? And he just got her like whole family on the palm of his hand, which so I love that touch where like, again, like throughout the entire season, he wrote all this stuff down on the palm of his hand.
Dude,
it must not ever sweat in his hands.
It's a really, I mean, it's a very car salesy thing to do too, is writing down tag numbers on your hand. I used to do it all the time when I was selling cars. So I think that's why they're doing that, because he is a car salesman, right? Like he like owns a used car lot or something. So I think that's why they're doing it. But it's so good, dude. Like,
shout out to the
couldn't
car
even get a
lot
piece of
days.
paper. Yeah, couldn't even get a piece of paper. You know?
Yeah.
No, you can lose the paper.
just-
You can't lose a hand.
Well,
Yeah.
Not Irving. Irving ain't losing no hand.
But I love the escalation here, where he's like, I'm gonna need verbal confirmation that you understand the situation. I forget exactly what he said, but dude, it's so good.
The arrangement you're in or something like that. Yeah.
And like just the sheer force of the volume of his voice, like every vein in this dude's body is like bulging out of his skin as he's yelling.
I mean, he does say, he's like, go in the barn. I just need to gather myself. He just like continues to just like mutilate Santiago's body. And he's like, this is for me. Because he did not like Santiago. Because I like, okay, was that one? Oh yeah, when he was telling Grant, like when that whole departing scene, and he's talking to Grant, he's like, yeah, he's dead. You know, had to kill the FBI guy, but we got a new, better one. And honestly,
not as high of a rank, but yeah, so good.
Real promising. Do a lot. I got it all figured out. That's when Grant shows up. Yeah, and then Grant enters the barn with the whole gang. Dom being emotionally just devastated and beside herself. Elliot being kind of like, all right, yeah, we're on track. He's gonna wait, and I like this the stance. Like, just do nothing. Like we're here to wait. Like, eye in the sky. Like White Rose is here with us.
Yeah, and Leon's just chilling there, rolling joints. Like, it's
and it's almost like
when Dom comes in, he's like, "You want some of this catnip?"
Yeah.
And I guess like this is a culmination of like Elliot's understanding of all the characters in play, right? Because, you know, probably part of it is that Joey is there. He spent a lot of time with Joey, Leon, and I think he understands the position Leon is probably in. Like, you know, he's you know, a killer for the Dark Army, and like he's gonna take the key shots around here.
Right.
So I think he knows that he has that much going for him, and then also that White Rose is watching, and he can speak directly, play right into White Rose's like mental, and he pulls the whole "I can move your project," and like that's when Leon gets a text with clear White Rose was like, save him, or like don't, you know, keep him alive, right? Keep Elliot alive.
Yeah, because the whole issue here that arose was due to the martial law and a lot of the things that were caused by stage 2 and whatnot. White Rose is having severe issues moving her project to the Congo from the Washington Township plant. So that's kind of where Elliot plays his cards. He's like, I can make it happen.
Yeah, and that was the crux of Grant's like whole point, was like, we didn't have to blow up the buildings. Like, you caused this problem with your whole agenda here with Elliot, with 5'9", with Price, all of this. Like, I can take care of this, and like we'd all be better off if we just listen to me.
Yeah.
And again, it's like White Rose is like, okay, I'll let you think that, but end of the day, like, this is my game.
Yeah. I love how Grant is like, Elliot's saying like, I'm the only one that can do this. So he's like, Grant's like, what are you talking about, dude? I have like an entire army of people who do everything you could do. Like, what makes you think that you're better than an entire army?
I am.
Yeah. Good stuff. And then the call. Well, first, you know, Leon doing Leon things and just saving the day again with his ninja-like skills.
Go with a knife.
Yeah, right. Like 5 rapid shots immediately. It was
conversation between Grant and White Rose was really cool. Well, not for Grant, but
he was cool with it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing, like, that mental breakdown, I wonder if that happens like the Tyrell and Angela process with everyone. Because like these people are so bought in that there's like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, this is the end of my job here.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. I do like that they did build a little bit more tension up with this one though, because it seemed like he was just like maybe not gonna follow orders and kill Elliot or try to kill Elliot before Leon took him out. And he's just like, there was probably like a 30, 45-second gap where he was just staring at him. And then he does it. So I like that they build up the tension there. But yeah, I just want to know so badly why these guys just keep killing themselves and I'm not getting the answer. I hope I do eventually.
Dad, can you look up what you looked up Grant saying to Elliot there? I forget what you told me. He says something before he blows his brains out to Elliot. I think it's something. It was in Mandarin. Subtitles didn't reveal what it said.
Take care of
said,
her,
speak.
he says.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course, talking about White Rose. So I thought that was interesting. But even more interesting, this happens at like the 30 to 35 minute mark of the episode. So you still have like half the episode left.
Right.
By the way.
Yeah.
Breaking news, by the way, for all of you Cleveland Browns fans out there, Joe Thomas, officially a member of the Football Hall of Fame. Surprised nobody. Anyways. Yeah, so what happens here in the last like third of the episode, this is where some more big twists and reveals come out. And this is what Nick was talking about, where we kind of have like 3 conversations happening simultaneously. Well, really 2, but like you have the smaller one of Darlene and Dom, basically Dom ripping into Darlene because up to this point, up to the breaking into the safe point, like Dom kind of trusted Darlene and like had this bond connection with her. And because of Darlene, Dom's life is literally ruined now. She is a puppet of the Dark Army and something that is not seemingly able to be escaped. So yeah, I think Dom's conversation there was quite justified, as brutal as it was.
Yeah,
but
I get
it. While that's, or the other 2 conversations that are happening simultaneously, let's start with Angela first. When she's picked up, you kind of are, or at least I, upon first viewing, was under the assumption that she's being picked up by the Dark Army, being brought to White Rose.
Right.
But no, she wakes up, or the next time we see her, she's like in this big mansion with some like creepy like butler son,
like,
yoga
nephew thing.
Awfully
what is
young
this guy?
for a butler. Yeah.
But super weird, asking her what she wants for breakfast, and she's like, I just want to talk to White Rose. Turns out she's at Price's house, and they have a very good conversation in which it is revealed that Philip Price is her father. A very Luke Skywalker moment here. I like how you said that to me earlier today, Nick. Yeah, what did you think about this reveal? Did you see it coming? It's like my first viewing, I thought Price was just kind of like creepy with Angela at first, because they have like that dinner thing,
right.
And then like he's just like expediting her growth in E Corp and all this strange stuff. He's like a lot older than her, and like all the E Corp people are kind of sleazebags anyways.
Right.
So I was kind of a little shocked here at the reveal, but they kind of play into it in the episode with Kid Angela and her mother. The lawyer's talking about like the benefactor guy who's offering to pay for her treatments that she declines. But yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it shocked me completely. I think that he is just a fucking slime ball, so I don't know that I necessarily believe what he's saying. But I give it like probably a 70-30. There's like a 30% chance he's just lying through his teeth because he's a piece of shit. But yeah, it shocked me totally, and I didn't pick up really on. I thought the same way with your first viewing that he was just like he just liked her. You know what I mean?
just like
he's
creepy,
creepy,
old
like
creep.
old man likes the new intern and is gonna propel her. So yeah, I wasn't gathering that that's why he was doing it for any reason.
But how are your feelings on this situation, Nick? Like, obviously you've seen this before, but like initially, what did you think? And then like on your second watch, how did you view the Price Angela interactions playing up to
On
this point?
on the first watch, I totally like this was a part of the show where I like fell asleep because I couldn't stay up any longer. So it was completely lost on me like what that scene even like was. So I had to like I rewatched that scene like a couple times before like to like really grasp like what was happening because I think it was a total like I'm like what is going on? I'm like
in full disclosure, when I said earlier that there was a moment in this season where I was like, what the fuck is going on with the show anymore? This is it. This is the exact scene. And I'm just like, what the hell are we doing here? Like,
because it was like that, you know, you're falling asleep while the show is like wrapping up some very important dialogue and like you're just like dozing off and you're like waking, you're like half awake through it. So I just completely missed it. Then I like rewatched it and I was like, what? Like I was just so, and I was like, did I miss like more? Like, did I miss more than just like the end of this episode? Like, what is happening? So yeah, definitely total confusion and like, why? What does this have to do? Like, there's just so many questions. Like, where are they going with this now? Like, what's going on? But it does make a lot of sense in terms of explaining his like weird mentorship over her. And he says it. He's like, biologically, like technically I'm your father. Like he acknowledges like I am not like a dad. Like I'm not your dad. I understand that. But like biologically I'm technically your father. How he says it.
But so, it also explains like his protection of her from White Rose and the Dark Army.
It explains like the weird lens that White Rose and Price had, that conversation they have, like, oh, your pet project, like this constant thorn in my side as White Rose, like Angela constantly trying to like take down my project and you're just entertaining it. Why? Like what's so special about you? And that kind of goes back to her interrogation scene. Like that is what is so special about Angela is she's Price's daughter. Like that's the reveal.
Does White Rose know that though?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Otherwise she wouldn't have gone through those, like spent 30 whole White Rose minutes. Like
right.
Yeah.
We did forget to mention that after the annexation of the Congo and the blowing up of the buildings, White Rose is like, I'm done with you, Price. You serve no purpose. You're gonna resign, or like you're no longer the CEO of E Corp. Like I don't need you anymore.
Right.
And Price is defiant and not doing that here in
which
these
seems
last
like
few
a really
episodes.
piss poor decision making on his part, but like he's got to know who he's dealing with White Rose. Like I don't get why White Rose doesn't just kill this dude.
Well, from his stance, like he feels the same way. Like he doesn't, like White Rose doesn't know who she's dealing with. Like
Phil Price is the most powerful man in the room.
Yep. Outside of like two people.
Yeah, but he says outside of two people, and we don't know who those two people are, right?
Right. I would say one of them could be White Rose, but I kind of want to say he doesn't feel that way about White Rose. Like White Rose is this like peer that he entertains because he thinks White Rose is insane. With this dialogue he has with Angela.
Right. You would think if he thought that he certainly wouldn't be defiant towards him if he actually thought that he was one of those two people.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting here too, because I think up until this conversation, even though it's revealed earlier in the season that Price knows about the hack and F Society, like up until this point, I don't think there's any reference to Price knowing that White Rose and that minister dude are the same person. But here, I think I mean, obviously he says White Rose, but I think it's insinuating that he knows that these two people are the same. So Angela and him have a conversation about the buildings, And like just the way that Price plays this off, where it's like, yeah, she was just trying to get a dig in at me. It really is just that simple.
Yeah.
Like completely disregarding the weight of the situation that like this little dig at you killed like 4,000 people.
Yeah, thousands of people,
like,
right?
What are you gonna do? You know,
right.
Gotta declaw that
Those
white
1%
rose one of these
guys.
days.
Those 1% guys.
I mean,
So
I kind of
sly.
felt like I feel like he kind of like appreciated the irony or like the gravitas of it was just a dig. Like it's sad. Like all that is sad that it was just a petty dig at me. I'm very important. Thank you.
Yeah.
I am indeed very important. So yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation and the weight of it and everything that was revealed. And
Angela's like trying to like comprehend it, but like come out of the white rose like hole she's in. She like doesn't understand how she can climb out of this, but she kind of realizes she needs to somehow. So yeah, she's definitely having like a little conflict here where it's like, well, no, I have to like believe that wasn't all for nothing, and she's like half grasping that it was, and she just needs to put her big girl pants back on and like move forward. But then she's like, you can also tell she's like slipping back into the whole white rose. I might as well just kill myself.
Well, there's a great line she says to Price. Oh gosh, I wish I could find it in our dumb chats that freaking are massive. But yeah, something essentially.
You should text me that stuff, not Discord it to me. That's how Chad and I would always do Game of Thrones. We would text it.
Well, that's true. That's true. Shoot, it's basically something about like she wants retribution. And that line and the delivery was excellent. Unfortunately, I don't have the line in front of me, but it's great. Trust me, you'll have to trust me. Yeah, so that conversation's happening while simultaneously Elliot and Mr. Robot are talking about, undoing the hack, decrypting E-Corp's files. Mr. Robot's kind of like trying to talk Elliot out of it, like, hey, this was your plan. Like, do you really want to undo everything that you've worked for? Like, it came at a price. Like, are you sure you want to do this? And just a really good conversation there between him, and you see like the protector personality of Mr. Robot come out, which is awesome.
Somewhere in all that, if not before, maybe it was the Ferris wheel ride they took, but like where they find out that it wasn't, Elliot finds out that it wasn't Romero that made the key logs.
It was him.
Of that. So there's that whole kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, you did it, Mr. Robot, you did it. And then it goes back in the whole, like, there's a part of me and you and vice versa whole situation.
Dad literally just typed that.
Literally said that
chat,
as you were saying
as you said it. Just like a part of me is in you, a part of you is in me. We're the same. Like, yes, it's so good. But Mr. Robot's like, all right, I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do, like, I can't stop you.
Yeah. Don't pretend that I can.
Yeah, they hatched the plan to undo the hack there, and we get a revisit that opening monologue again. It was a different take, about the 1% of the 1%ers. I'm going to take them down, blah 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 blah. Was that before he realized, or like, what exactly is his plan to take them down again? I forget. Because he tries to undo it in the car, and then that's when he realizes Romero doesn't have the keys, or he ends up going back to his apartment and emailing the keys to recovery at E-Corp.
Right. Yep. He sends them the keys.
Right. So that happens. But lost in all this,
Mr. Robot had the other bit the disc. Mr. Robot told him about the disc that
that's
has the other half to the
Where they
puzzle.
were,
And that's
He's
the
like,
other.
with those two things,
Yeah.
you can decrypt it.
And that's the other Back to the Future reference. The picture is them dressed up like Back to the Future.
Yep.
And when the Dark Army was raiding his apartment, that disc flies out onto the floor right in the middle of the floor, and they like focus in on it, and
it's just blank.
At the time,
Blank,
you think
right.
it's just the blank CD of him, his backup, but it's the key log stuff that the Dark Army would have been looking for.
Yeah. Lost in all this, there's a conversation with Elliot and Darlene about the window incident.
And this is it. Yeah.
Huge
this is what I
reveal.
was talking- Yeah.
So we find out here that he wasn't pushed out of the window. He jumped out of the window.
He went
this
crazy.
whole scene made me think long and hard about Mr. Robot, the character, not the show. Because the way Darlene describes what happens is very disturbing to me. So Elliot's looking for a camera to take a picture of what, Kevin McAllister or something like that. I forget. He's wants to take a picture or record something. Finds a camera, sees the camera, gets furious. Darlene goes in the closet or whatever. His dad comes in. They start yelling at each other, and he's like, Elliot has a baseball bat. What does he do? Destroy the camera or threaten his dad with it? I forget exactly the play-by-play. But eventually, Elliot like jumps out the window. And so I'm like, what is going on here?
And a prior description of that event was that Mr. Robot was protecting Elliot from his father from like the abuse, the same thing that happened in the prison. So like,
because Mr. Robot is the protector.
Yep.
Right.
So this gives like conflicting ideas of like that part's consistent, but it's like, what is he protecting him from? Right. Because at first it was like the dad was the threat. The dad pushed him out the window. So he was protecting him from that poor memory of his father.
Well, and even in this scene, they twist that a little bit too, because like, yeah, he was mad. Well, I guess they don't really twist it. We get an explanation. Like Elliot thought his dad pushed him out the window because he was mad that he told the mom that his dad had cancer. So like, that's why he pushed me out the window. And Darlene's like, no.
Yeah,
this is what happened. But yeah, what is he protecting Elliot from his father? But also the fact that his father is like the protector personality, right? But like he found something that made him jump out of the window regarding his father. So like, why would that be the personality that is now your protector personality? So this explanation.
But Elliot doesn't remember jumping out the window, right? So like, in theory, Elliot didn't jump out the window.
And in theory, maybe he doesn't know that his dad is the cause of all this. So that's why the image of his father is the protector. But yeah, this made me have some serious questions about what he found. And like, dude, was Mr. Alderson like abusing the kids in some like disgusting way? Like, what the heck?
Right.
What did you think about this reveal?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I went because I was so freaking hyper focused with the time travel shit during this, or alternate realities going on, that if you know, like, I'm not going to get into a deep alternate reality discussion, but the basic premise is there's infinite amounts of possibilities of universes running simultaneously. So there's infinite amounts of Nicks, Mikes, and Chads talking about Mr. Robot. But in those universes, there could be big differences, or there could be small differences. So I was like, is this like an alternate reality where he jumped out the window and wasn't pushed out the window? So that's where my mind was originally when I saw this, because there was just so much, like, I feel like they're just showing, and you really kind of hinted at it, I thought, a little bit in the last episode, maybe misleading me and making me miss all the more important shit in the show. But yeah, that's where my mind went immediately when I heard this, is like, yeah, it just doesn't make, like, this has to be like the other universe where he jumped and wasn't pushed by his dad. But I lost my train of thought. We got real deep into
Darlene was in that universe? Like, why does Darlene have a different take on that situation?
Right. I mean, there's a lot there's a lot going on there, and it's also because they kind of hint that, or they kind of tell you that that's the reason that he has issues, is because his dad threw him out and he had like brain damage from, and it's very clear that he obviously had some fucking issues before he jumped out that window, or he wouldn't have jumped out the window, right?
And
So,
Darlene says, like, she's like, all of a sudden you just went crazy and then lost your shit.
right.
Well, it could be like this is now the source, the creation of the dissociative identity disorder here. So yeah, the did.
And that's probably the biggest like clue puzzle reveal, I would say, like, of everything that's going on, is like, once again, end of another season, we're getting another layer to the Elliot mystery, right? Like, what's going on with Elliot, which is the point of the show.
Right.
Did you stick around and watch the post-credit scene?
I did. No, totally forgot about it.
Oh, come on. Neither did Dad. I think maybe we take a moment here and
let's do it for our post-credit scene.
Ooh, yeah. No, because there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, we got to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Not really.
It's a post-credit scene. Let's talk about it next.
About.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really just looking for an excuse to go pee real quick. But no, we do have to talk about it because there's a big reveal again in this post-credit scene. That's quite important.
Well, just talk about it. We don't need to watch it. Just talk about it.
Okay. So again,
we all have to pee, bro.
Beautiful beginning of the post-credit scene is following a car driving somewhere.
Shocker.
I love it. They continue. They continue it. So you start following this car, and then you end up following Darlene and a hooker walking down the road, and the prostitute is like talking. No, it's not the same car, I don't think. As in like make and model. Obviously they're all different characters, but I don't think it's the same make and model in every post-credit scene. But they're talking about the state of the economy, right? And the prostitute is like, educating Darlene on all of her advanced economics, that she learned when she got her advanced economics degree in school or whatever. And Darlene's like, well, hey, what if, just relax. Like, it's all it'll all turn around soon enough. And she's like, yeah, okay. Well, what good does it do getting turned around? Because my $80,000 in school debt or whatever will be right back in my face. And Darlene's like, well, hey, it'll just the economy, it'll rebound, and things can get back to normal. And then you have like a Marx reference and all this stuff, and they get to Darlene's Elliot's stoop to his apartment, right? And they're about to part ways. And the prostitute notices the car that we saw at the beginning.
Full of essays.
Yeah, full of essays. Pull up. And she's like, oh, crap, I got to get out of here or whatever. And so the guys get out of the car. They walk up, and wouldn't you know, our brave traveler has returned home. Vera is back.
I knew it. I knew he's going to come back, yeah. I was actually shocked it took this long, to be honest with you.
But I love it because she's like, he starts talking. Obviously, his voice is 100,000% like recognizable, right? Right off the bat.
Like, who the fuck are you?
Right?
Can I help you?
But I love his answer to her question. He's like, "I'm just a brave traveler who finally made his way home," and I'm like, "Yes, Vera's back." But yeah, so that'll be a fun tie-in to season 4.
It's just like, what the heck is he gonna do in season 4?
Right. So, I mean, let's bring Dad. You need to come on here, okay? So, like, make yourself presentable. I'm gonna put you on screen. Let's wash your face off real quick. Thank you. All right, he's on. Okay. So, what do you and Chad think we're gonna get here in season 4. Like, where the heck is this bus going?
Time travel.
Time travel?
I'm guessing only that freaking hadron collider.
Dude, it's
They
it's
hinted
obvious.
at that. Huge foreshadowing. Like, it's got to be important. And White Rose's plan, I mean, they've got to go somewhere with that, right? So,
But what about what Price said?
he's full of.
Dude,
Is he
he's
or
Bryce
is
said-
she?
Price said she's full of shit, and then she's just like, I am full of everything.
Yeah.
Maybe
find you.
because I'm like all about the theories, I want White Rose to be right. I
just find the fact that they're
freaking
trying to talk us both out of it more,
Yeah,
more suggestive.
I
that
talked you
it
both
is the
into
case.
it last episode.
Yeah, he talked. Well, okay. So you guys clearly don't like Price because he's a piece of shit. But
Yeah,
like,
he
does
is.
that mean White Rose is not a piece of shit?
Well, no, she, whatever it is. Also, yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So Price being a piece of shit like isn't really a good reason to be like he's wrong.
And arguably, arguably Price is. I mean, White Rose is a significant amount more of a piece of shit than
Right.
Yeah.
Price is.
But I think I don't know. I feel like she's more important than Price is
Ooh,
for some reason.
That's how she feels. Price doesn't feel that way.
that's how he feels.
I don't know. I'm Team White Rose. I just want to put that out there right now.
yeah, I am too.
Wow,
right
sure.
or wrong.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Dude,
There's just a lot of
dude's
mystery
gonna
behind
unlock.
her.
Yeah, the dude's gonna unlock time travel, man. How can you not get behind her?
Right. And Price, what has
Come
Price
on.
done?
What has Price
Nothing.
done?
Yeah, knocked
Besides
up one of his
verbally-
coworkers.
Verbally
made-
crucify
He
everyone.
made
needs.
eCoin the
He's got
standardized.
We don't care. We don't care
currency.
about that.
Yeah,
we don't
nobody
care
cares
about
about
that.
eco-
We
no,
want time
no.
travel.
Jordan
Right.
cares about
We
it.
want time travel. Jordan cares.
We want time travel. We're gonna make shirts.
Jordan
Um,
cares. Wow.
I am solidly on
are we
Team
team
Irving.
White? Are we Team White Rose or Team Price? Is that what the decision is here?
The
Yeah.
line in the sand.
Listen,
Line in the
Chad and
sand.
I are White Rose. You guys can be whatever you want.
I can't be
Right.
anything, so I've seen this show 3 times now. I'm Team Irving.
So go back in time.
I'm really
Team Irving.
pulling for
Write
Irving
my
to finish that book. That's what I want.
I'm Team Elliot, actually.
Team Elliot.
I don't think I can get behind Elliot. He's too much of a fucking loose cannon, to be honest with you.
He really is crazy.
Yeah, but
Well,
you know,
but
the
like-
time travel will do that to you. Maybe over the course of years of doing it.
the
Is
problem,
Elliot time
though,
traveling?
is he's telling us his version of the story.
Also
So-
true. Yeah,
I
So can you
mean,
even
all
trust
of
And
this
that
could
was-
be totally garbage.
all bullshit. Yeah, and I was leaning for season 1 and 2. I was really leaning that way, that none of this shit was actually happening, or not to the extent that Elliot's telling.
I was going to
but-
say something in private chat. This reminds me of The Usual Suspects when Kaiser Soze is in the detective's office making up this story by a bunch of random pictures he's seeing on the walls.
Yeah, yep, I could see it.
It actually all takes place in Krista's office. Hence
Yeah.
the importance of the,
The barn.
painting.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's,
Right.
that's what made me go there.
Dang it, you made me
Yeah.
spoil the entire show. Guys suck.
Nailed it.
Wow, and it's just so crazy that there's still like a layer to this puzzle that like is so hidden, but is so important,
Yeah.
and it plays both into what happens and like what people like want to happen.
Right.
That's the crazy thing about like that
The
layer.
show
Is
is
it- or are
everything
you
want
saying-
it to be?
Is there a layer that is shown in season 4, or it's been there the whole time?
The layer's been there the whole time. It's how
Yeah.
much they like reveal the clues about it. It's like the most slow played
Yeah.
clue
well,
drop.
I would even go out further and say it's just all been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what made all right. So like, just know as soon as I watched the penultimate episode, I was like, I need to restart the series, and immediately started it before I watched the finale. Like, I didn't finish it obviously in a week's time, but I immediately restarted, and the entire tone of the show is completely different.
Hmm.
and in the best way. Like this is one of those shows that
Unless you're
rewatching it
Civ.
is
Civ's so pissed.
dude, yes, don't listen to anything Civ says. He doesn't know what the heck he's talking about.
He's so mad.
But no, this show is completely different and makes a rewatch very, very, very enjoyable because everything has this brand new context, and everything, while still has its initial viewing meaning, right? What you see play out like has that layer of meaning and importance, but like then you have this whole new added layer that has been there the entire time, and you're able to notice everything. It's like, getting like your cataracts removed, or like a pair of glasses that you've needed for a long time. It's just, it really, like, you guys think the show is brilliantly written. Wait until you finish the show and then go back through it, and you'll be like, this is a literal masterpiece.
Yeah.
This is a masterpiece.
Yeah, and I was hoping someone would like go there and like maybe see that sooner, because it totally also plays into, it supports the like time travel thing. Like it's nuts because like were you talking about the time travel theory on this show on the rewatch is like even that plays into that. So it's like it is it, right? Like at this point it's like everything points to it, which is great.
Yeah.
I just don't, that layer.
I'm so excited for you guys to watch season 4.
I think that means we're wrong by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, dude.
I'm okay, even if I'm right. Like I'm still very excited to see how it ends. Like
Nobody's
so am I.
the thing about the show, nobody's ever wrong or right.
seriously,
In a 5-minute span, Chad has both thought we were convincing him of and against
Yeah.
the time theory.
you guys are terrible people.
But
It's the
guys,
show's fault.
you gotta, this week is gonna be a slog. Season 4 is 13 episodes.
I know.
I'm excited.
Keep that in
No.
mind. You got a few extra episodes to watch in a week's time.
It's really only 3, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really only like
Let's
2
all go
extra
watch the
hours
next episode, because
right now.
right now
I probably
it's
will.
totally worth it.
Yeah. No, it really is worth it. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see this show wrap up, and remember, just remember that like a bunch of scenes that you've seen throughout 1, 2, and 3 are vitally important and will resurface here in the final season.
Go figure.
Remember the pins that I've told you to
'Cause
stick in things.
They're traveling through time in this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, QWERTY, much bigger role than anyone realized.
The beta fish.
The beta
Yes.
fish, yes.
But
yes.
no, I'm glad you guys are liking it. I really, season 4 is probably the least memorable, like not in terms of like what happens and what plays out, but in terms of what I can actually remember at this particular moment in the rewatch. So probably like you were talking about 3 tonight, Nick. So much like last episode, I'm going to say season 3 is my favorite season after saying season 2 is my favorite season. So we'll see next week if I say season 4 is my favorite season. It very well may happen. But I do know
to the future and have seen it.
He's come back and told us.
You're going to say.
My favorite episode is 100% in season 4. And I want to see if you guys will be able to know which episode it is after you watch it. Much like you guys predicted Irving. I mean, both Dad and Chad knew right off the bat. I mean, how could you not?
To be fair,
as soon as
to
we
be
saw
fair, yeah, as soon as we saw, I agree. But to be fair, there's only like 2 new fucking characters anyway, so I had a 50-50 shot. So
that's true. So I mean, up to this point, like, do you guys have a favorite character and episode across all 3 seasons? Doesn't even have to be season 3. But I would like to hear, Dad, what's your favorite episode and character so far?
So I'll start with episode. I would say episode 5 of season 3, hands down.
Okay.
Tension building, all that stuff. The one-shotter, or mostly one-shotted, just so beautiful. Favorite character? Ugh. That's a tough one. I really like Elliot just because he's so crazy. I like Leon. He's good. He's a classic. I love Mr. Robot too. Christian Slater does an amazing job. Yeah, I would say those are my 3 favorites.
Chad.
Yeah, it's 100% episode 5 of season 3 for me so far. It's just unmatched compared to everything that we've seen so far, at least. Character wise, I mean, I have a very soft spot for Leon. I think he's fucking fantastic. But I think White Rose is up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially in this season, I think every scene I just enjoyed watching much more if White Rose was in it.
Okay.
Yeah. She did great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good old BD Wong.
Yes.
All those episodes
Dun,
of Law and
dun.
Order. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Do I have that sound effect in here? No, I don't. Okay. Well, I'm excited for next week. Chad is working on our regularly scheduled Throwback Thursday week, so we're bumping it up to next week. So I'm excited. Get to watching it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go take our March Madness poll. Jump in the Discord, fill out a bracket. We haven't had any brackets turned in, which is kind of sad because Dad worked long and hard making that beautiful bracket. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hello, friend.
They're not even here.
Hi.
Lame.
They
Want
left
to watch
us.
this without them?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.